You're now rocking with the best. We are your official sports entertainment and everything in your Atlanta Pro sports teams. I am Steph, no Curry. I'm never in a hurry. And he go by the name of
the one, the only, the side that curly head
assassin.
Let's get it.
That's right. So and you are now tuned into where we talk all things pro.
And we talk all things Atlanta.
So that means you're now tuned in to
All Pro Atlanta.
Yes! Welcome to episode 2, season 2. And you already know who we about to get down with. We about to talk about them Atlanta Hawks. And I'm going to tell you right now, I feel a whole lot better, buddy, about the Atlanta Hawks than I do about them Dirty Birds. So let's get right into it. Our 2020-2021 Atlanta Hawks Atlanta team. We did a lot of moves this offseason. We have new unis. New unis, dog. We've got new players. We got that boy Bogdanovic. Gallinari's, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Chris Dunn. Mm-hmm. Tony Snell. Rajon Rondo, you know what I mean? We got him. And we picked him up in free seat in the offseason, and we also followed with the Big O. I cannot pronounce that man's name right off the top of my head, so if I need to go research him up. If I see his name, I can pronounce it for you. Do you know his name?
I'm gonna take a shot at it. I think it's a Kongu.
Okay, you close. You close. You close. Okanye Okongwu. Okongwu is his last name. Oh, okay. But on this show, when everybody else call him Kobe, we don't call him the Big O. That's when we don't call him the Big O.
Yeah.
Big O. So with all those pieces assembled, with the comeback pieces of Kevin Hurt, Cam Reddish, Baby Kobe. Yeah. He puts that work in. He got the ability to be a young Kobe. Reminds me a lot of his game. Silky smooth with it, okay? Trae Young, John Collins, the Baptist, yes now. Who else? DeAndre Hunter. Baby Kawhi. Hey, Brandon Goodwins. You know? He back again. You know? These folks, with the additions that we recently acquired, promising young team. Mm-hmm. So much promising, matter of fact, we start off the season 3-0. Yeah. The one game that we did lose to is against the first game against the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
You know, Harris was going off in that game, right? You know, the defense we played, I seen that Lloyd Pierce wants our defense to play, collapse the paint, give up the outside shots.
Yeah. And
teams have been taking advantage of that, and they've been hitting their shots. So we will see how that, fatigue and everything plays down the line. But KD did his thing. Kyrie took over the fourth. We lost the game. After that game, we had to go and play the Cleveland Cavaliers. No, I'm sorry. We played the Nets again, and we blew them out. Yep. Like we had to control that whole game from start to finish.
Yep.
To the point that we even KD came on the press conference and said, they got about 7-8 players that can be starters. Well, ain't that? He said, they're going to be a dangerous team. And that indeed. We beat them.
Yep.
So, we're going back home to the ATL. 4-1. Mm-hmm. Cleveland Cavaliers, we got them. Our offense is averaging 28 points a game. We're getting a lot better on defense than I thought we were. Play the game. Halftime, we up by 15. Let's get it. This ain't the Falcons. We This ain't the foul. We about 15. We gonna get it. Next thing you know, Cleveland came through and put their bodies on us. They said, y'all gonna be finesse team. Y'all wanna shoot threes. Y'all wanna run a gun. Y'all wanna play to the hole. Trae, you wanna run, dribble. Somebody's on your back. You wanna stop and get to the foul line. Guess what we gonna do? We're gonna put bodies on you. And Cleveland did. They chipped away and they came back, and not only came back, they won the game. Now we're sitting at 4-2. I'm not tripping. Because what we got after that? The New York Knickerbockers. We should be good, right?
I'll be honest with you. That game, I wasn't really sleeping on it because the Knicks are. I know like the Knicks are supposed to be like a bad team, but this year they're actually not a bad team. They have all like good pieces. They have a lot of good pieces in there. It just depends on how they execute those pieces.
Their coach, Tom, whatever his last name is. I don't want to butcher his last name. That's why I attempt to pronounce it. He is bringing that defensive mentality to Eagle, and that team is buying into it. Thus is why we've lost our third game of the season so far against the New York Knicks. Another game was up by 15 points. At halftime, we lost. That boy Julius Randolph was giving him the business. He was giving him the business. He almost had 30, had 14, and 9. He almost had a triple-double. Again, we have another team that comes into Atlanta and put bodies on us and give us that physical play. They were really physical. And we wasn't prepared for it, and it showed, and we lost the game. So now, we're 4-3. I'm still not tripping. We good, you know? Because why? We got the Queen City Hornets. Wow, was I in for a rude awakening. They blew us the hell out. Gordon Hayward had his career high of 44 points.
Yeah.
Blew us out. Trae Young only scored 7 points.
7 points?
Only 7 points in that game. Now we're sitting at 4-4.
And then we gotta play them again.
We gotta play on Saturday.
Yeah, but look, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Come on with it, man.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm not tripping about anything. It's still early season. We're still a 500 team.
Okay.
And what showed me in the Brooklyn series where we played one game and played another game and we did better. If we do the same thing with the Hornets, that's gonna show that we can make adjustments to teams. And especially since we're projecting to be a playoff team, that will help us a lot in those series.
That's true.
And I'm seeing that. I'm like, okay, we know what we're doing wrong. We can make those adjustments to do better the next game. And so that's like, I'm not tripping about anything. It's okay. I understand. It's still early in the season. We've only played 8 games. We can start worrying about these things when we're like 23 and like 35 or something. At least like when we're like that. But like right now, it's okay. It's still early in the season. We're fine. It's okay.
Okay. I respect your opinion. I respect your hot take. I mean, you really do. We're only 8 games to the season. There's no need to push the panic button. There's no need. Sky's not falling yet. Come on. Like ATL, we like to overreact. We overreact. It's like we supposed to win every game. Definitely NBA. Come on, let's be real. We're not going to win every game. But I think it's the fashion of how we're losing that has the fan base worried. When you up by that many points and you can't close out the game. I mean, oh my God. And I do owe my son an apology. Sir, you was always in Clint Capello's corner. He was the one who tell me about him. He was always in his corner, and he has been showing out. Rebounds, the defensive post presence. Teams can't just slice in anymore and not worry about having a shot block. You called it. You called it on the head. You called it, man. So you're not tripping about it. I'm not tripping either. I'm not worried. I know they still got a lot of kinks to get out. You're talking about Trae Young. Is a scoring guard, but he does know how to set people up and he makes the team better. So it's a lot of weapons. He's used to just going up the court and have to go out and do what he wants to do. Right. He has a lot more options. He needs to spread the ball around, so it's going to take some time to get used to this.
All right, but no, somebody who I think is underperforming that I thought was going to be like kind of like a bigger factor Bruno Fernando.
Bruno.
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. But he doesn't have a lot of playing time. First of all, Coach Lloyd Pierce, I don't know what his rotations is. I mean, the game against Cleveland, we was up. I mean, he kept our starters on the bench for 7 minutes too long. They got cold. By the time they came in the game, we was missing all the shots. We lost the fluidity of our team chemistry that we built up in the first half of the game. It was no cause for that. I don't understand why you let your starters sit that long,
Right.
And then he turned around and say, I actually put him in the fourth quarter earlier than I wanted to. Coach, man, how long you gonna let the starters ride? I mean, the backups ride, man. I mean, shit. Come on now. DeAndre Hunter, very pleasant surprise. Really stepped his game up this season. He is balling. DeAndre Hunter, baby Kawhi is balling. And I really, he has improved his 3-point shot. He is a little bit more aggressive taking it to the hole. And his defense is always there. And I really like his game. He's gotten stronger. You can tell how much stronger he's gotten. So I really think that he's really a good, advance his game. Trae gonna be Trae. Trae is always good. John Collins didn't get the contract extension that he wanted. He didn't get the max. I still think he should have took the 4-year, $90 million contract. That's just me, Some say he might deserve the max. I don't think he's a max player. I'm not saying just because he's not a max player now doesn't mean that he can't be a max player later. But right now, he's not a max player because his points and rebounds doesn't affect the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it doesn't equate loss to wins. So. But with that being said, I have breaking news. This ain't ESPN, but we got some breaking news for you. And I didn't even talk to you about this before pre-show production. We didn't have a pre-show production meeting. We usually have a pre-show production meeting to talk about what things we're talking about. Most of the time, like 90% of the time, we just winging it. So I read this early today around 1 o'clock, and it blew my mind, and I gotta serve my son. So this is organic right here. So it seems to be SOS. I'm in trouble. It seems to be trouble in paradise. John Collins have a little issue with Trae Young. This is what he says. John Collins, a 4th-year big man, just weeks before bet on himself to be in a big way during his failed extension with the Hawks, shared his unfiltered and unhappy views about the way the franchise centerpiece, Trae Young, was running the offense. According to the 3 sources who were either in the session or had knowledge what was said, Collins raised several issues about the way these Hawks are functioning with Trae Young at the helm. Wow. And it goes on to say, and I quote, this is what John Collins said. There's a moment during a timeout in the 3rd quarter when perhaps sensing Young was not happy, Collins put his arm around Young's shoulders and patted him on the back to encourage him. Young did not say anything or reciprocate Collins' friendly gesture, instead walked away. Wow. So let's just go into what I just said right now. I'm sorry, I didn't quote, John Collins didn't quote that. There was a renouncing what's been told, what happened against the Charlotte Hornets game. This is what they're talking about. So let's just go back and just hear what we just said. John Collins has verbally expressed dismay of how the offense is being run with Trae Young running at the point guard position. And I guarantee you it has something to do about his contract and getting enough touches to show how much he proves his max contract. Well, I say he should have took the $90 million 4-year deal. Now he's starting to chip away at his money. Now he's looking at Trae like, yo, what's up? So I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more. Collins talked about the need to get the offensive sets more quickly and to limit all those early shot clock attempts that leave the teammates on the outside looking in. He shared his desire to be more involved and expressed a desire to be more ball movement and flow to the offense. And with that, I do agree. When the Hawks are moving that ball from side to side, and everybody's touching the ball and everybody's moving, it's a hard team to stop. You understand?
Yeah.
Wake your ass up. We're a hard team to stop. Now, I'm gonna finish reading some more quotes, and I'm gonna get drill balls on everything. All right. Now, there has not been any back and forth between the two, but the point of criticism caught the attention of the room. And Young, sources say, made it clear to others that he strongly disagreed with Collins' assessment. And this is what John Collins had to say when someone texted him and asked him about what happened. I don't know how this leaked out. This is supposed to be a team-only meeting, but it leaked out. So there's issues right there. This is what John Collins said, and I quote, "Trae is my brother regardless." Collins said of those who elaborate further on, through the text message when asked about the situation. I want your thoughts. What the hell's happening with our baby Hawks? Oh, wait a minute. I want your thoughts. What the hell's happening with our baby Hawks? Come on with it.
I think you said what needed to be said. He's upset. He's not getting the touches he wants. Stuff like that. As far as the ball movement point,
so what do you agree with John Collins' assessment of how the offense initiating? What do you see?
It's kind of like a half and half. It's like me. I don't like when we're not moving the ball around and stuff. But it's like at the same time, like you said, Trae not used to having other people who are just like you can just pass the ball and you can rely on them to create their own shot.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Took the word right out of my mouth. Create your own shot.
And it's like you said, he just used to always just have the green light, just do whatever he wanted. It was a Trae show. But now we're watching the Hawks show.
Hey, watching the Hawk show. You heard it here first on All Pro Atlanta. It's the Hawk show.
But yeah, I do think it will over the course of the season, he'll get better at making those swing the ball around. This season right here, where he has options and stuff, is gonna really show. Is gonna really bring out his point guard abilities to run the floor.
I agree. A lot of people are trying to compare Trae Young to Allen Iverson, saying that he's a volume scorer, not a very efficient scorer. He broke the record. What he got? 29 points. How many shots? 12 shots. If that's not efficiency, then that is. He's not as efficient as more people want to make. And I don't understand the reality of it. People need to watch his game and see that the type of style that he played with is very efficient, but he takes risks. How many players that you know in the NBA besides Stephen Curry and Dame Lillard that takes consistent 30-foot three-point shots? Only 3 of them. And please don't jump in the comments and say LeBron James. No, please don't.
Oh my God,
no,
it was so funny because
please.
He shot a logo shot from the Grizzlies logo.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the circle Grizzlies logo. It was the old school with the bear and stuff.
It was the big ass paw and stuff.
Yeah. It was not really it was technically a logo shot, but it wasn't like
logo damn near at the 3-point line. It's a logo. Hey, woohoo!
It was like, look at the range.
Yeah, look at range. Woo, LeBron, he does. That's another episode with LeBron. We Jordan over here. He great. Jordan is the GOAT. Not LeBron lanes. All right. It gets even more interesting. Clint Capella chimed in.
Oh wow.
So check this out. And everybody knows where Clint Capella came from, right?
Right.
Houston. Who was in Houston?
James Harden.
And who else?
Russell Westbrook.
No. Before that, Dwight Howard.
Oh, Dwight Howard.
Check this out. After the film session came at the end, the dialogue about how the Hawks could operate continued. Only this time, it was the Hawks big man, and I called him Clint Capella, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Superman, okay. Who decided to weigh in a private discussion with Trae. Capella, the 26-year-old who was acquired from the Houston last season trade deadline, has seen a similar act unfold during the Dwight Howard. So, with all that being said about Collins, another veteran player, a new acquisition that the Hawks brought in this year, Clint Capella, chimed in. You know, the reports are that he talked to Trae privately, and he basically told him the situation between Dwight Howard and James Harden, how those two couldn't get along as far as, you know, Dwight Howard wants the ball and James Harden is such an on-ball player, he's not an off-ball player, and that causes a rip, and that could potentially probably broke up a championship-esque team with Dwight Howard and James Harden, and, you know, he had who was on there? Trevor Ariza, you know what I'm saying, playing, you know, Green. Yeah, they had a lot of talented players that could have challenged, you know. But so basically, situations like this doesn't bode well for anyone involved. Definitely doesn't bode well for the coach. Doesn't bode well. You have two of your top two players, John Collins, Trae Young, are the Atlanta Hawks. And John Collins is the best in the game for slipping out of the screen. Very hard, you know. That's why Trae Young gets a lot of easy lobs on him, because he's good at just knowing how to set a pick, slip out the pick, and boom, you know. Young dog, but you know, it sounds my heart to hear this. You know, he sounds my heart even more that the Hawks lost 3 games in a row. Now we're 4-4. We got the Charlotte Hornets on Saturday night, and then in the second game of the 2-game series. So I hope that we pull it out and we do what we're supposed to do. It's in Charlotte. I believe that we will. I think Trae's going to be on his jump. I think John Collins is going to be on his game. I think everybody's going to come. They're going to come to play. They're going to come prepared. And I think Lloyd Pierce is going to be on his. I think they really do need to talk and break everything down. But you know, go ahead. What you feel?
I don't really have much to say. You said everything that needed to be said. Like that's, like I said, just as long as we just get on the court and play basketball, that's just the main goal. We all have the same mindset. We all have the same goal in mind. We want to win every game, but you know what I'm saying. Reality is, it's not really gonna happen. But the great teams aren't made of how you continue to win. It's what you do when you lose.
Right.
That is what great teams are made of.
How do you deal with adversity?
Yeah.
When everybody is like the same old attitude, you know, and same old attitude is like everybody's cool when everything's going well. But the real ones show who they really are is when stuff isn't going well. What do? You fold, you cry, do you bitch, you moan, like what do you do? You know, like what is it that you're going to do? So, you know, I feel like, you know, the Hawks have a good chance. I project us, I'm saying it right now, I project us to be the 5th seed, 4th seed, or the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference Final.
I think so.
4, 5, 6. Those are my 3. We're that talented. We're that good. And you better hope the number 1 seed don't want to see us as the 8th seed or 10th seed. No, it's going to be actually 8 seeds. I think it's going to be a playoff to get into one of the 8th seeds. So I think 9 and 10 is going to have to play each other to be the 8th seed. If the 8th, you know what I mean? It's what it is. But that's breaking news of us. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in to All Pro Atlanta. Happy 2021. Doesn't mean that we ain't out to the shitter yet, because it's worse to be. So, that being said, Trae Young, John Collins, get it together. Y'all too good and too masterful to just not why and to just play along together. So, that being said, All Pro Atlanta started.